2019, the year of return for the African diaspora, which means everybody that was traded in the slavery trade. In the slave trade, everybody. 2019, you can go back to Africa, the fuck out of here. This is not where we're from. We still own this bitch, but we gotta go back to Africa before we make it to Jerusalem, like the Bible said. The Bible said we gotta go into the wilderness again, a second time. After we leave this American, Egypt, Babylon bullshit. You know what I mean? Tell America to go suck something. You know? Get the fuck out of Venezuela. Get out of Grenada. You people come here. Okay, you make slaves out of us. You left us in the fucking Caribbean. And you tell us we need a visa to come to Canada or Europe to mingle with your people. I get it. Oh, even South America. We need a visa, right? Alright, okay. But you want to go to Grenada with a whole fucking camera crew, right? And act like you own the shit? Like you run people? People been in Grenada leaving for ages without you people. Leave the fucking people alone. Get the fuck out of Grenada. If anything you people come to Grenada to do is to give us money and give us stuff. Because you've been taken from us for a long time now. 3,000 years. Since Moses left Joshua to bring us in the land of Israel, you people leave us alone. Well, as you can see right here in the African diaspora, the English, the Anglophone, the French, the Francophone, Hispanic, the Hispanophone or whatever, this one, whatever here. Yeah, you get it. Europe, Middle East, Asia and whatever. You know, yeah.
You know, what actually, check out this clip. It's the Ghanaian president. They have just launched the Ghana year, you know, the 2019 year of return Ghana, or year of return Ghana 2019, one of those. Check out what they had to say. These are exciting times as we see, you know, now it's shifting from the African Union, but to actual governments starting to call our people home from the African diaspora. We'll be right back.
Wake up, Africa!
People. We're gathered to initiate the year of commemoration of one of the most momentous events of history, the commencement of the transatlantic trade, slave trade, which brought tens of millions of Africans to the Americas, North, Central, and South. We know of the horrors that accompanied that forced journey. We know of the brutalities that were meted out to them during their stay in the Americas. We know of the great difficulties they have encountered in attempting to assimilate and live and maintain their dignity in the Americas. We know of the extraordinary achievements and contributions they have made to the life of the Americas. And it is important that in this symbolic year, 400 years later, we commemorate their existence and their sacrifices. It was in anticipation of the year of commemoration that my great childhood friend, colleague, and associate, the late Jake Otanka Obecha-Bilemti, then Minister of Tourism in President John Agyekum Kufuor's government, a government of which I was part as Foreign Minister, launched in celebration of Ghana's Golden Jubilee, the Joseph Project, the project that identified the need to symbolize the return of the prodigal son who was lost and found. I would like to dedicate this whole ceremony and this to his memory. He insisted on granting easy visas to all returnees, and that we should give force to the right of abode. I think it is the duty of my government to do both of those things in commemorating of next year. But I would like to say in conclusion that the most important consequences of all the activity we're here to initiate is that together on both sides of the Atlantic, we will work together to make sure that never again will we allow a handful of people with superior technology to walk into Africa, seize our peoples, and sell them into slavery.
Wake up, Africa!
Welcome back to the Dr. Mumbi Show, a special production for the Advise Media Network. How you guys doing? Don't forget to check out my channel where I have many more stories on, on everything that's happening in Africa. But here on the Advise Media Network, we're all about building bridges, connecting the Africans on the continent with Africans in the diaspora, preparing the African continent for the great return, because there's going to be a second exodus, and it's starting very, very soon as we mark the 400th year anniversary of slavery in 2019. And you know what? You saw that clip. Ghana have rolled out the red carpet, and it's absolutely amazing. I don't know if you caught the main things that they were saying, but basically what they were talking about is how, for a few years they've had something called the Joseph Project, and the Joseph Project is basically, like Joseph in the Bible, where he was sold to slavery by his brothers, and then in the end him and his brothers connected. So that's where, nostalgia, that's where they get that. But they have launched the Year of Return Ghana 2019, and they first launched it in Ghana in August 29th, and they had this huge ceremony, paraphernalia, dancers and everything. And then they now launched it again earlier this week, or earlier, like sometime last week, at the United Nations General Assembly. So Ghana had a side event where they launched this, Year of Return Ghana 2019. And what they're basically saying, apart from all the, they're going to have lovely events, they're going to have a lot of commemoration events. But another thing, sorry, the kids are just like screaming. Today it's crazy. But they're also going to give the right of return to African Americans. They're also by introducing Easy Visa project, Easy visas actually is what they're calling it, to all returnees. They're also going to welcome African American brothers and sisters to live. So they're introducing something called right of abode, or the right to become a resident. And this is absolutely amazing. Ghana is the first country, and actually the Ghanaian president is the first president to actually come out and say, well, we need our brothers home. African diaspora, come home. And a lot of you guys had asked me, why aren't the presidents inviting us home? When are they going to? Well, they've started. I see this as such a prophetic move, but it's really exciting to see what's happening. And Ghana is smart. Ghana is smart that they've launched this initiative, because there's already a very important presence, of African Americans, and they have their own little community in Ghana. So this is absolutely amazing stuff. But I have to be fair, right? I have to give the full picture. One of the worrying things is that earlier this year, in March actually, the Ghanaian government signed an agreement with the US government to open a military base in Ghana. So what? Now they're following you guys too. This is crazy. Now, of course, there was a lot of outrage. There was a lot of uproar from the Ghanaians who publicly demonstrated for this not to happen. But it's kind of interesting to me, and it doesn't, I don't want to be this party pooper and always looking at the negative side of things. But why would Ghana be the first nation to invite African Americans back, also be inviting the U.S. military to open a base in Ghana? I don't know. I just see a hidden hand there. I see something strange that, because, the U.S. they have a lot of presence across the continent, over 100 bases, 3,500 military operations a year, which means 10 operations a day, all this covert stuff that's going on in different nations. But for me, my big question is, So they only have a military base in Djibouti, and in Djibouti they have about 4,000 American soldiers. So my question is, why Ghana? Why has the US chosen Ghana as the second African country to have a military base? I mean, they were rejected by Kenya. You know, they came in 2012, and they tried to tell us that, or was it earlier? Like maybe 2010, somewhere there. They tried to get us to give them a base here. I don't know if it happened or if they already have one covertly, but they were officially, it was rejected. So why Ghana? Anyway, guys, this is just a prophetic indicator that the time has come for the lost tribes that are spread across the world, our lost African, they're not lost, but our dispersed African brothers and sisters to start making plans to come home. Will you do it through government initiatives like Ghana? Will you do it through the African Union? Or will you just come yourself and kind of meet the people, connect with your brothers and sisters here on the continent and see what happens? Whichever way you do it, let's just know that the season and the time is here for the great return of African Americans and Africans in diaspora home. So look at it that way. Look at it like it's time. It's time, it's time, it's time. Especially when we're seeing the Jim Crow laws re-emerging, you know, and a lot of people have said to me, you know, Trump is actually, he's brought out the racist white supremacists. They've actually come out full force. And things are not looking good for African Americans. So I always wonder, why are so many guys like, I'm not coming, I'm going to stay in America. But anyway, this move is not for everybody. But for you who have been feeling inclined in your heart, inclined in your spirit to make the move back to the African continent, ways are being opened, ways are being made for you to come. And we welcome you home. Mwah.